right, with that being said, I'd like to start the January 23rd, 2023 City of Palm Springs Park and Recreation Commission meeting to order at 5:34. I'd like to see if we can get a roll call, please.
And when I call your name, please indicate if you are present. Chair Alcorn,
Present.
Vice Chair Coladonato,
Present.
Commissioner Crawford,
I'm here.
Commissioner Finland,
Present.
Commissioner Meyer,
I'm present, thank you.
Commissioner Moralia,
Present.
and Commissioner Spellman.
Present.
So we have all members present with Commissioner Diaz excused.
Awesome, awesome. With that being said, I'd like to see if we can do a report of the posting of the agenda, please.
So the agenda was posted last week on Wednesday, January 18th, in accordance with our public meeting noticing requirements.
Thank you. Have all the commissioners had time to check over the minutes, and can I get an approval of the minutes?
Motion for approval.
Thank you, Michael. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris, okay, thank you.
Can we get a roll call vote on that, please?
Alcorn,
Yes.
Coladonato,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Finland,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes,
Moralia,
Yes.
and Spellman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, thank you. With that being said, I'd like to move on to public comment section. This time has been set aside for members of the public to address Parks and Recreation Commission on agenda items and items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Although the commission values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items listed on the posted agenda, and there will be a 3-minute assigned for each speaker. So with that being said, can we start with our first speaker?
Okay, so if you are a member of the public and you would like to speak at tonight's meeting, please use the raise hand feature and we will let you into the meeting. I think we're just going to go with the top down order. I'm not sure if there's any logic in that alphabet or not, but it looks like we have John first. John, can you hear us?
Yeah, just let me in. Good evening, Chair Alcorn and Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to address the Parks and Recreation Commission. My name is John Soulier. I'm the Vice President of Palm Springs Senior Softball American League. Tonight, I'm speaking on behalf of the 9-member board and approximately 70 players of the league, which has been a staple in the city for over 40 years. For the fields at Demuth Park to be useful, they need to be safe, well-maintained, and properly prepared for league or tournament play. The league appreciates the work done in the past few years of renovating the infields and batters boxes, as well as the diligence of the prep crew in making the fields game ready with setting the bases, chalking, dragging, and watering the infield. That said, it is in the outfield where players run the highest risk of injury, whether they are senior players or tournament players of any age. The outfield is where players chase down balls while running at full speed. It should go without saying that the presence of gopher mounds and holes and neglected irrigation equipment creates an unnecessary hazard. As a side note, there remains a pattern of negligent behavior on the part of pet owners who leave piles of excrement in the grass. And frankly, I would rather sprain an ankle almost rather than slide through a pile of dog waste. The number and recurrences of holes in the outfield, particularly on field 5, is unacceptable. Further, the sunken sprinkler box in mid-center field poses a significant hazard. These are not new problems. The league has revisited these issues with the city on numerous occasions. While the liability waivers protect the city when recreation sites are in regular condition, they do not cover gross negligence. Once an irregular hazard or condition has been reported, the city is obligated to expeditiously mitigate it. Mitigation of liability should be a primary concern of this commission's governance responsibilities. Further, the reputation of the venue for softball tournaments is primarily defined in player circles by the quality of the fields. If the city intends to utilize the parks at Demuth to full potential, safety, proper maintenance, good field prep, enforcement of pet waste regulations, and accessibility are keys. We laud your work on the quality of the infield, field prep, and accessibility. However, the final and likely highest element of your fields is the condition of the outfield. And we hereby are memorializing the information that we shared in your minutes and ask that the commission prioritize mitigation of the hazards outlined as soon as possible. And thank you again for allowing us to address the commission tonight.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, next we have Mike Altop. Mike will be moving you over to the meeting as a speaker. Okay, Mike, 1 second. I don't think we've got you there yet. Okay, Mike, you should be able to speak now. It looks like you're on mute.
Hello, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can
Yes,
absolutely
sir.
hear you.
Good
Okay, we're
evening,
gonna
Chair
start-
Alcorn and committee members. I do have a couple of questions concerning the Palm Springs dog parks. I understand there are plans underway for resodding the Palm Springs dog park and installing decomposed granite at the Demuth dog park. I was hoping you could confirm whether or not that's correct and also give me an idea what the timelines plan to be for those two projects.
Unfortunately, we're unable to answer direct questions such as that right now. But it is in our future plans, just to let you know.
Will the plans be posted online somewhere so that community members will have access to that information?
All our stuff always is. Yes, sir.
Okay. And the second question, the maintenance crew that comes into the dog park 3 days a week for 3 hours at a time, they don't appear to be doing any kind of maintenance to cleaning the sidewalks and the concrete areas within the park. Is that something that they're tasked with doing?
I am unaware of what their contract covers. I think all of us are. That is more at the government level. We will find out and we will address that as well.
Okay, and where would I find out the answers to that?
We can have staff reach out to you.
Okay, great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
It looks like we have T. Santora who would like to speak as well. We are promoting you to a panelist.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. Well, thanks very much for the opportunity. I just want to say thank you very much, particularly to Commissioner Finland and Director Weiss for leading the efforts of the Pickleball Ad Hoc Committee. I'm really honored to be on it, and I just want the rest of you to know that the process is working really well, and I think it's a terrific model for other areas of interest for the commission to consider. So that's it. I just wanted to say thanks.
Okay, are there any other members of the public that would like to speak during tonight's meeting? Okay, Chair Alcorn, I don't see any other members that have indicated that they would like to speak during public comment.
All right, thank you very much. So with that being, public comment section being done, we're going to move on to the director's report.
Okay, so I have just a couple updates tonight. We've been talking a lot about the grass in our parks lately, or over the past several months. We completed our overseeding. We had those areas that were designated for dormant grass, and we're going to be talking about landscape conversions a little bit later in tonight's meeting. So this is just the graphic that we've been looking at as we have been advancing through the 2022 overseeding schedule. So all of the overseeding is completed and all portions of the parks are open. We have two of our centers still designated as warming centers. So James O. Jesse Center is open to the public from Monday through Friday from 9 to 5:30, and our Duluth Community Center is open from 9 to 6 for those who want to get inside from the chillier temperatures. For some fun project updates, we have been working on the HVAC improvements for the Duluth Community Center Gymnasium, and I am happy to report that we see the finish line on this one. We are just a few short weeks away from this project being completed. So I'm estimating right now before the next Parks and Rec Commission meeting that this will be completed, so likely mid-February. We have an RFP that's out right now for improvements to the swim center. So we're working with engineering on this initiative. The RFP right now is looking at a remodel of the existing locker rooms / restrooms, as well as fencing for the center and a new entry ramp as well. The RFP has been issued, and we are looking in terms of timeline of having a contract awarded in the second quarter of this year, so between April through June, and we will continue to provide updates on that initiative. Our ball field lighting is also still well underway. So this is the project where we are converting those old metal halide bulbs into LED fixtures. Plans and specs are already out for bid on this one, and our target completion is still end of year of 2023. We just completed a survey on the reservation system that we use at the swim center. We received over 360 responses, as you can see, and I'm going to walk you through some of the results of the survey. The survey is also posted online, but I just wanted to show you some of the survey results in this meeting as well. So it was a short 10-question survey, and it was really meant to get feedback on how we're currently managing the swim lane reservation system. We asked it a couple just sort of demographic related questions, so we knew who was answering the survey. The survey was completely anonymous. As you can see from the data here, over 94% of the survey respondents were residents of the city of Palm Springs. And in terms of usage for our pool, 83% indicated that they use the pool year round, with a smaller percentage indicating that they just use our pool seasonally. Question 3, we asked how often the individuals were frequenting the pool. 92% of the individuals surveyed indicated that they are using the pool more than one time a week. That blue area of that pie chart there indicates only 8% indicating that they use the pool just one time a week. So what we know is that our pool community likes to use the pool more often each week. Question 4, we wanted to get a little bit more granular to learn about the days of the week that our community was using the pool. The green graphic there, 57% of that shows that most of our users are using the pool both on weekdays and weekends. The blue area, which is the equivalent of about 40%, indicated those users who were just interested in using the pool on weekdays, with the smallest portion there, that orange section, about 3%, indicating those users who were really just using the pool on the weekends. Question 5, we wanted to get some information about whether or not our users were interested in the long course configuration of the pool that we are doing on Sundays. The orange graphic there indicates that 50% of our respondents indicated that that service is not valuable to them as a swimmer. But as you can see on the other side of that pie chart, 39% indicated yes, that they do like long course lap swimming, where the green area is equivalent of 11% being undecided. So 50-50 on that one. Question 6, we asked how the individuals were typically using the pool, whether that be drop-in, which is for us is just like showing up to the pool. Were they doing the advanced reservation system, or were they doing a combination of both? The orange section of that pie chart is equivalent of 50%, and those individuals were indicating that they were using the reservation system. The remaining 50% was split. That blue area is about 26%, indicating that those are the users that drop in or just show up without reservation. And then the green area, 24%, indicates those who use a combination of the both. Sometimes they make reservations and sometimes they just come over and drop in to swim. Question 7, we asked for some additional feedback on the actual lane reservation system. Right now, we utilize a lane reservation system between 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., which allows users to reserve a swim lane for 1 hour in duration. 59% of the respondents indicated yes, that they have found this reservation system to be beneficial. The orange area indicated, actually, I don't have that percentage in front of me, but we can clearly do the math on that. The majority of the individuals, have indicated that the reservation system was beneficial. The green indicates those that were undecided. Question 8, we asked a question about whether or not the community would be interested in eliminating the lane reservation system. So the orange area is the equivalent of 52% of the respondents that indicated that they would not be supportive of eliminating the lane reservation system. That remaining 48% then in the green and blue areas were those who were undecided in green, and the blue area indicating those who felt that it could be eliminated. Question 9, we were curious about how our swim community feels about sharing lanes during busier times of day. In the blue area, 45% of those surveyed indicated that yes, they would be willing to share lanes during busier times. The orange area, 50%. Indicated those users who said that they would not be interested in sharing lanes. And that green area is the equivalent of 4% for those who were undecided. The final question that we asked, this was a new survey format for us. So we asked our community as to whether or not the survey was easy to complete. And we got a 4.58 out of 5 on that. This type of data can help us make changes and improvements to how our users reserve the pool and how they have access to using swim lanes. So more on that will be forthcoming, but I just wanted to share the results of the survey with you. And again, the survey is also posted on the Swim Center section of the city's website as well. Shifting gears on updates, we have an exciting special event happening on Tuesday, February 21st. This is the U.S. Air Force Band of the Golden West concert. It'll be at 7 p.m. in the Plaza Theater. This is a completely free concert, and our department will be responsible for managing the distribution of those tickets. I do not believe that we have the tickets yet, but you can call the Leisure Center and we will be distributing those to the community. Has a cap of 800 just due to capacity constraints. We are also hiring for quite a few positions still. So we are hiring for a program coordinator, an account clerk 2. We're hiring for 4 part-time park rangers. We are also hiring for lifeguard trainees. And this is a new program that City Council just approved for us. And the goal of this is for us to be able to attract more lifeguards to work at our swim center. So instead of having to have all of the certifications in place before you apply to be a lifeguard, the city will oversee the certification process for those who are interested in being lifeguards. So it's really a trainee program where the employee would then advance to become a lifeguard. And we think this is going to be a more sustainable approach for helping train individuals in the community to be lifeguards, as well as helping staff our swim center. We also have 4 part-time positions that are currently posted for recreation program assistants. So we are still fairly short-staffed right now. As you can see, we have a number of recruitments that are already in that recruitment phase, and we have a number of other positions that we still need to get posted. And we are doing our best to keep up with all of our amazing operations across all of our centers. We are currently planning an open house to help serve as a better way for the community to find out about who we are and what we do in terms of projects and programs. So this meeting, of course, is one way that the community can learn about who we are and what we do. And we also have that new section on our website where we have project updates. But we've been trying to figure out other ways to continue to work with the community and share information about projects. So we have decided that we are going to do an open house at the Demuth Community Center, and this will be sort of a one-stop shop where the public can come out and learn about a variety of programs that we have. So the community can learn about the improvements to the pickleball courts. They can learn about improvements to the dog park. They can learn about programs that we offer, as well as even hear about some of those recruitments that we have in place. And we will have staff on site to do Q&A sessions, and we're hoping that this will be a good format for helping the community to sort of learn more about who we are and what we do. Date for this one is still being figured out, but we're looking at likely late February or that first week in March. All right, James O'Jesse, the same amazing lineup of those athletic and health and wellness programs that we normally have, with soul line dancing being a new offering on Fridays from 4:30 to 5:30. Otherwise, same great programs there. And also we remain focused on our sort of educational offerings at James O'Jesse as well through Homework Help, program focused on our mature adults, as well as the Youth Encouragement Program, knitting and sewing, and a computer lab for the community to use. Jumping over to the Demuth Community Center, again, also a wide variety of recreational and health and wellness related programs for the community. This past weekend at the Demuth Community Center, we did our, maybe our 4th month of the community flea market. This has been widely popular and is growing in popularity. And I believe we had over 300 people who came out to the community flea market this past Saturday. And for those who are interested, it's a $10 table fee. The flea market is open from 8 to noon outside of the Demuth Community Center. If you're interested, you can certainly just call the community center and we can give you more information on that program. Skate Park has some special activities planned for February as well. They've got a series of contests as well as a skate clinic that they are programming. And that actually completes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Director. We appreciate that. So with that being said, is there any presentation action items? Looks like we got an action item A, which is 2023 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting calendar.
So we provided a printed copy of our draft 2023 meeting calendar for you in your packages. And I've also put those dates on the slide here for the benefit of the public as well. We traditionally go dark in August, and this commission typically meets on the fourth Monday of each month. So we have those dates outlined for you for the year, with the December meeting being moved up to the third Monday of that month. So we are asking for your motion and second on adopting our calendar for the year. And obviously with all calendar related things, we will confirm those meetings in advance, as well as the meeting format, whether they be virtual or in person.
I say a motion to approve that. Can we get a second? Thank you, Chris. Can we get a roll call vote?
Alcorn,
Yes.
Cola Donato,
Yes, I do have a quick question. On the 25th of September, is that the Labor Day weekend? That Monday?
Oh,
no. That would be earlier in the month, would be the Labor Day weekend.
Okay. Just throwing it out there. Thank you.
You bet. Crawford,
Yeah, the dates are fine with me.
Finland,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Morelia,
Yes.
and Spellman.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries unanimously.
thank you, ma'am. So second action item is our landscape conversion plans. As you guys know, we've been working, having a lot of sub meetings, meeting with Conserve, getting our landscape conversion plan set up. I think at this point now, we're ready to submit or take to City Council. And we'd like to do a roll call vote or take any questions, comments?
We have the presentation that we can walk you through quickly. And we also wanted to make sure that we showed some of the changes to Ruth Hardy from the presentation in December. So I'm going to hand it over to Brent Sprague with Conserve Land Care to walk through some of those renderings.
Hello, Chair Alcorn and other committee members. Thank you for having me on tonight. As you stated, Chair Alcorn, you guys have already kind of reviewed the plans and whatnot for Baristo, Desert Highland, Francis Stevens, and Victoria Park. So, I mean, if you have any questions on any of those parks, then just let me know at this point. I mean, we've gone through these over the last couple of months. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make last month's committee meeting. But I believe my purpose in this meeting is to walk you through the Ruth Hardy Park design changes. I believe several of you have made comments and suggestions to the Ruth Hardy Park where you like the idea that we were doing at some of the other parks with entry like pathway pavers to be able to access through the desertscape area from like the sidewalks, walking through those areas into the areas that will remain as grass. So the Ruth Hardy Park is actually the largest of these 5 park conversions. And I know the last time I received a comment and feedback, we also, you requested to remove any of the grass areas around the tennis courts and pickleball courts. So there wasn't grass butting up right against the courts. therefore causing irrigation to overflow or run onto the courts and, leave puddles and whatnot when patrons start showing up. So we did those changes to those 4 different areas around the tennis court and pickleball courts. And then it was also suggested adding some type of gravel, just or cobble right up against those court areas. And so we went ahead and added the 6-inch minus, just a small band, like 12 to 18 inches around the entire perimeter of those, just to help collect any, debris or water from going in there. And then elsewhere, we just have left it as the decomposed granite. And then we tried to do our best to add some colorful planting and, make it look nice at the end of the day when all these grass areas are converted, helping it to be presentable to the community and for the city of Palm Springs to be proud of the way the parks look.
Sounds good and looks good. Thank you very much, Brent.
Yep, no problem. Any of you have questions at this point?
I just, like I said, I thank you. I appreciate you listening to all the stepping stones. It looks really good. You guys put a lot, it looks really, really good. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
My only question would be, do we have any kind of timeline yet?
That is actually the next step for us. So what we wanted to do is to have you at least recommend that the concept proposals are looking good, and that will help the city figure out the proposed budgets for each of the parks, as well as the appropriate sequencing. And we can bring that back to you as well, so that you know what sequencing that we're looking at.
Wonderful.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay, so with that being said, we take this to a vote now to see if we want to take it to the council.
And Chair
So-
Alcorn, I think we have Commissioner Crawford has a comment.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I just want to ask if there's any way we can also remove the grass in Desert Highland near the mural. We're working on a project to update the mural to add tile to it to kind of try to make it last a little longer, because the sprinklers hit the mural and over time it just makes the mural fade. So I think it would probably be a good idea to maybe add some desert landscaping there near the mural as well.
Thank you, sir. Is it Brent or Derek?
Yes.
I don't want to say the wrong
Yes,
name.
Brent.
Brent. Can you
Yes, I
please
can
look
take
at
that back to my design team and we can modify that. Hopefully we can get to that this week. It shouldn't be a big change. So yeah, we can take care of that.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, any other questions for Brent or modifications, changes? Okay, with this time, let's take this to a vote, everybody. Can we get a motion to pass in a second?
I'll make a motion to pass this.
Thank you, John.
A second?
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, and I'll do our roll call vote. Alcorn,
Yes.
Coladonato,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Finland,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Moralia,
Yes.
and Spellman.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Wonderful, everybody. I mean, wonderful upgrade for our parks. So at this section, since we're done with all the action items, we're going to move on to ad hoc commissioner updates. We just had our ad hoc commissioner update kind of for the landscape. So let's start with the dog park. Is there anything fresh and moving around for the dog park?
I think I'll take that. So we,
Done.
yeah, I can speak, Johnny.
Thank you.
Yep, we met last week, and as I think most of you know, the windscreen, which you're seeing the slide right here, has already been put up, and this is preventing the debris from blowing into the dog park, which of course is a great improvement. As you all know, we had $250,000 earmarked for interim enhancements for this park. So we're starting to now spend that money. One of the first steps is to do the grading of the soil in there. There's still some rocks and things like this in that park. That is slated to begin sometime this quarter. I don't think we have an exact date yet, but I know it's this quarter. And then the next thing, other than the windscreen that you see here, is there will be a large shade structure kind of right in the middle of the park. This is what the shade structure will look like. Do we have the above shot of this or no?
Did
So-
not include that one, in tonight's
Yeah.
presentation.
If you can see, there's sort of two sections of the shade structure. So the lower section will be that bottom color, which is desert tan or sand or whatever you want to call it. And then the upper section will be that yellowish color. And we picked these colors based on how much they filter the UV light and how much shade they actually give. So these two colors are on the higher end of that scale. Not to mention, people always want everything to sort of blend in with our environment because we do live in a beautiful area. You don't want something that's jarring, but a huge shade structure like this will make this park more welcoming. I personally have been at this park now, I don't know, 4 times, I think, in the last week or so. And I have run into people there. So people are actually using it. It's not ideal, but we're headed in the right direction, and hopefully at a place where when we get to reseeding City Hall Dog Park next year, this park will be functional enough where it gives people another option of a place to go. And that's kind of the goal, right? Not to mention Demuth Park itself is gorgeous. Like, you can be outside of just where the dog park is and walking your dog. I can tell you, based on the person who commented on the baseball fields, if I'm out there walking my dogs and I see someone not pick up, I'm yelling at that person. So I think that's part of it too. Like, the community has got to be engaged, right? The other major improvement in that park is a screen to block baseballs or softballs from coming into the park, because that's a safety issue. So we're now looking at ways to do that. Have I hit all of the points? I think I have.
Awesome report. Can I ask you one thing too, John? Since
Sure.
I haven't, not a part of this, but I know you guys are working on lifting the fence up or shade. One of the other issues we're having right there too is that brand new shade structure by the CB Link.
Mhm.
It's getting a whole new design on that side now. It's having a lot more pothole, a lot more dings and dents, and I already see lights not in it because they've been hit. So maybe we can do the fencing around that whole side to protect the dogs and also our new beautiful structures there before it's too late.
Yeah, I actually, when I went there, I took a picture of that area you're talking about, and I sent it to, I think I sent it to city staff, because I noticed that it was a bit, it's not a safety issue yet, but I can see it becoming that.
It's heading that way.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Hey,
Sure.
Jerry, just so I can say something.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's gonna be good job, John, by the way. What they're gonna do, what we've got looking towards is netting. And that netting's gonna help protect that CV link structure along with the panels on top of that structure, along with cars being parked there, and then along with dogs and people getting hit by balls. So yeah, there's a net that we're looking into as we speak, and That's the goal we're going towards.
Thank you, Johnny.
Mhm.
So with that being said, I love how the dog park's moving together. Thank you so much, everybody on that ad hoc committee too. It's really, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. So we had a report for the landscape. You guys have heard what's going on. We're moving forward. Our next ad hoc meeting would be the master plan. Has there been any master plan meetings? I do not think so. I don't think there's been any park enhancement meetings either. We're getting ready to start one.
Jerry,
Chair
Oh,
this is Commissioner Meyer. We actually did have a master plan meeting.
oh, you did? Okay, awesome.
Yes, and
Update, please.
I don't know if we had a specific point person. I don't know if Chris wanted to do it or Yvonne, or I can do it. I'm happy to do it as well.
Any one of you guys are qualified to do it. I mean, we all were in the same meeting, but I think, obviously, Susie, go ahead. Why not?
Sure. So the master plan subcommittee did meet earlier in January, and we did sort of talk about a general timeline of updating the master plan documents as part of the broader general plan for the city, which is updated on a much less frequent basis. So we have sort of come up with a general timeline, the first part being sending out RFPs to kind of get an idea of what people can provide to the city, and in order to make sure that we're all on the same page about what things might need to be improved or expanded upon from our last master plan. The subcommittee right now is reviewing the 2014 master plan just to see if we want to expand upon that in any spaces. And we're also looking into other cities with similar needs, hospitality needs, sort of weather needs, influx of population needs and things like that, just to see if we can see who their master plans were created by, to see if they might be qualified to place a bid for our updates as well. And so we're looking at least a year timeline for that, but we have some good routes established, and we will continue meeting on a monthly basis or try to meet on a semi-frequent basis to try to move the process along. But we right now are kind of auditing the last go round, which again was in 2014, just to make sure that we can identify any areas that weren't really touched on or something that worked really well for the city, so that we can make sure that whoever we do select for the next version of the master plan can sort of appropriately address the needs of the city.
Wonderful. Great job. Sounds good. Anybody have any questions for the master plan subcommittee? Keep up the good work, everybody. Seriously, great job. So with that, park enhancement subcommittee, I don't know if they've had a time to meet.
Not yet on park enhancements.
Okay, so let's move on to pickleball. Pickleball subcommittee.
I can provide some insights with regard to that, Yvonne, if I may go, or should I?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll proceed with that. We had a recent meeting for the Pickleball Ad Hoc Committee. And during that meeting, we viewed a proposal for net barriers because there were safety concerns that had been raised in times past. And we saw a sample with regard to the net barriers, and the attendees were positive with regard to what had been viewed and put forth and what had been proposed for the net barriers. And it was suggested we should do a test run with regard to those, and just do it on one court initially and just get some feedback from the players as far as positive, or if there's some reservations that they have with regard to the barriers. The other item that we had for discussion, we had talked about the entranceway signs, and we want to have something that identifies to the public at large, so that we have a whiteboard system set up. And it was suggested that if we do have this designation for the public's advisement, that the sign should go on both sides of the gate so people can see it coming and going as far as the system that's at play for attendees. As Ivana noted earlier in the meeting this afternoon, we will have set up a future public engagement meeting in which we would enlighten attendees on pickleball procedures and proposals for Demuth. This event will be done in tandem with the Dog Park Committee. And really, we're casting a broad stroke with regard to how the meeting would be conducted. It's really going to be like a general, as I understand it, a general information session to let people know what Parks and Recreation is all about and what it's offering the city. Of course, and I'm not bragging, although in a way I am, the works of the Dog Park Committee and also of the Pickleball Committee are the jewels in the crown at the moment. So we want to, extol the virtues of those committees and the works that are being done, and just let the public know that we're addressing the needs and the interests by offering these kinds of. Someone had said that we could maybe present a survey at this public engagement meeting, and just to get feedback, what people would be looking for. And we also propose perhaps having pickleball ambassadors there when the queries that people would have about the sport and about the ground rules and regulations for participating in pickleball at Demuth. Now we're seeing on the screen, we viewed samples of ground decals, which we set up on the courts for instructional purposes for the players. So we have something that's visually appealing and getting people's attention. And these decals, as you can see, will let people know, give them little cues, little directives as far as, in a quick way, in a quick fashion, the do's and don'ts. We're in the process of designing T-shirts, pickleball ambassadors, and we want to have something for them so they'll be very visible to folks attending this engagement event, but also in going forward for future games, public participation. We want to have something that I can questions. They can present it to one of those ambassadors who are present. A question arose in a recent meeting with regard to lighting for the courts, and Yvonne assured the attendees that Parks and Recreation are going to look into that matter further to make sure that it was addressed. And in leading up to the meeting that we had in a few days back, there was some parking issues concern, and we've received some complaints from our neighbors over at the animal shelter. They feel that a lot of the pickleball people are parking in the parking lot, and it's being very prohibitive for people to access the animal shelter. So we had some discussion on what we could do, and I think we're probably looking for an additional sign to be put for advisement purposes to the public. And it was put forth at the meeting, and we'll see as far as if it's something that can be done for follow-up, but we'll be maybe putting together flyers or leaflets or something of that nature that people, for informational purposes, acquire when they come to the Demuth Park. Just let them know as far as where is proper for parking. And our next meeting is going to be in early February, and we're going to be formalizing and focusing on establishing plans for the future 2023, 2024 of pickleball court at Demuth. And that concludes my presentation.
I've got a question about pickleball. Does the pickleball ad hoc committee discuss indoor pickleball at Demuth and Desert Highland? Because I know we offer pickleball in those two facilities as well.
Pretty much we entertain questions. The focus hasn't been directed in that fashion. The focus has been on the outdoor courts, but I mean, certainly we're receptive to any queries with regard to what you had cited, and we would entertain and follow up in appropriate fashion any questions that were put forth pertaining to what you had mentioned.
I have a quick question. Is the parking problem the spots right adjacent to the animal shelter?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and if so, wouldn't the animal shelter need to be putting some kind of signs there saying parking for the animal shelter only?
Well,
They have, yeah, they have that signage there now. I think it's just that our pickleball users, you know, tend to park over there because it's conveniently located adjacent to the pickleball courts.
No,
And
I
it's
hear
all-
you. I've been there plenty of mornings where I was like, where am I parking? But you know, you can walk.
it's the high season, so we have more attendees coming, and we're trying to be as accommodating as we can. And certainly, Parks and Recreation is receptive to issues that may be put forth by the animal shelter. So we're trying to handle it as diplomatically as possible without inconveniencing folks.
Gotcha. So we're trying to be good partners here. That's good.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Hey,
Really
Mike,
good presentation.
I have a question, Michael.
Yes.
With these ground decals, so where are you putting these stickers? They're kind of cool. I like them. Where are you going to put them?
Well, we're looking to set them up on the courts themselves. So we're trying to not engage in information overload for people coming to Demuth, but at the same time, we want to do whatever we can in different spots for informational. So to the best of my knowledge, they're going to be on the courts, and it's just being done as a methodology of being insightful to people so that they see coming into the facility, they're seeing signage, and then on the actual courts themselves, they'll be seeing informational things. So it's just to help people along, but also to be playful, to be colorful, to be different, and just to enhance the overall esprit de corps of people coming to Demuth and participating in pickleball.
Okay. They're not going to be on the court itself, probably as you're walking in and through the gate, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, Michael. Good job.
All right. Thank you. You're welcome.
Any other questions for Michael and the pickleball subcommittee? Really good job, Michael, as always.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're working hard.
With
We have-
that being said, go ahead, sir. With that being said, let's move forward to the next section. I think it's commissioner comments at this point.
Correct.
Okay, does any commissioner have any comments? All right.
Actually, yeah, I do actually, if I can, please. Sorry, I was looking at another screen. We're trying to on our packet. With some of the ad hoc meetings that go on, I'm just going to be very candid. Do we all feel like we all know when they're happening? Or as Jerry and I were communicating earlier, like I didn't actually know. I know, Susie, you thought I was, and I apologize if I missed it. So it's my fault, but I didn't know there was a master plan meeting early in January. If I was on it, I didn't know that. So if there's some participation that needs to happen, if there's any way to streamline that or to be more involved and in the know, like I know I'm on the ad hoc committee for the pickleball, which is not really my forte, but I just want to make sure that things progress. If there's anything I can do, you know, my directive for myself was to in hopes of focusing on Sunrise Park. So when there's a broader scope of initiatives, I don't know if I'm always in the know, and I don't know if anybody else feels like that. I think, you know, seeing Yvonne at work, I think things are really gotten so much better since I've joined, on the commission. But I still feel like things are parsed, and as long as things are happening, like John's presentation as an example with the dog park. I mean, I didn't know that was all going on, but that was fabulous. And so long as things are happening, but I'm not sure sometimes when things might be unfolding, if anything more anybody I could do, or, you know, as I was talking to Jerry, if we know things are going on. So I just wanted to throw that out there. That's it. If that makes sense.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, yes. Some more communication around us.
Could
Any
we
other-
maybe, yeah, could we, to speak to Chris's question, can we maybe monthly somehow just between our group say, here are the ad hocs and when they're meeting? I mean, I don't see a problem with letting the fellow commissioners know when certain ad hocs are meeting.
Good idea.
Yeah, we can certainly do that at the staff level as well. The reason why, though, we were not notifying the entire commission is that it's just a small ad hoc group of the full commission. And then we had planned to use these meetings for the sort of broad, comprehensive updates on the work of each of those ad hocs.
Right, I completely understand the reasoning. I just am saying that I understand Chris's sort of, if we're on this commission, he wants to know like which ad hocs are meeting and when, not that he necessarily would have input or anything else, if I'm understanding you correctly, Chris.
Yes, and it's not to hold anything up, of course, or to make extra work, or if, you know, if I'm not on an ad hoc committee. But yes, thank you, John, and thank you, Yvonne. No, it's just if there's any other additional input or any help or anything prior to it, you know, I'd like to be able to participate in any kind of way. I grew up across from the swimming pool all my life, for instance, and so I'm, you know, or Sunrise Park, or being involved in the parks as a child. So when some of these things are taking place, the funny thing is, I think I volunteered to be of help, but the committee that I'm on, I play tennis. The least thing that I know about is pickleball, but the only reason I'd like to see it prosper is because it is the fastest growing sport in the nation. We are a destination for something like that, and for the broader development when it does take shape, possibly in a Sunrise Park or somewhere else, where and how it could happen. But when I do hear things like the parking situation for the animal shelter, that is a little bit of a concern, because I understand how, you know, if I was the animal shelter, I'd feel a little put off that all these people were taking up our parking spots, and I think it should maybe be the animal shelter, but our responsibility to erect signs or some sort of, you know, no parking during this time in these spots, or setting aside spots that people can't park in. Again, not to make it sound like it's our fault. It's not in any way. It's just a rapidly growing sport, and people are showing up by the droves. So if there's anything we can do or to help, you know, I'm definitely somebody that like to help in that, even being some sort of liaison between the animal shelter. I'm a big animal activist and or advocate, and the parks. So if there's just some sort of straddling that could go on without having to formally weigh down the ad hoc committees, which I don't want to do. But you know, hearing some of these things, you know, during our meeting, I'd like to be able to help in any way. I'm sure other people do too. That's all. But
Thank you, Chris.
all right.
Anybody else have any updates or anything they'd like to speak about?
I just got a quick comment. I know we discussed the swim center survey, and I've brought this up in the past as well. But I'd like to see us add some more features to the swim center, maybe like some slides, bring back the diving board, or maybe like some kids play features to kind of make it more family and children friendly. I know some of the other aquatic centers here in the valley have some other stuff with other features, and I have known people that live here in Palm Springs to frequent the other aquatic centers because they do offer those.
Of course, who doesn't miss that high diving board we had like 40 years ago? That was amazing. Wish we had
That was
still.
fun.
We have a wonderful photo of that diving board.
How they let a little
Yeah.
7-year-old jump off of it, I don't know. Yeah, but it was.
No, it was really fun though. And they would make you like see if you could swim from one side to the other. You had to pass like a swim test, and then you would get to go on the diving board. So that was definitely fun though.
I know Susie frequents it as a swimmer. I remember
Yeah.
you saying that. And you know, population, everybody, you know, things have grown, you know, back in the day, just you show up and you go swimming, and that's what it felt like. Now, when, you know, like when I play tennis, I hear about, you know, making reservations or having to make a reservation at the pool, and I totally understand it. Is there any, are we turning people away that are just drop-ins that are kind of like, you know, I didn't know I had to make a reservation type of people, I just thought I could go swimming? Or are we is that okay with as far as the checks and balances? Or
So if someone shows up during the reservation period and they don't have a reservation, if space is there, we immediately just sign them up for a reservation
that's
and they
great.
go in.
Okay, that's great.
Mhm.
You can call, sorry, this is Commissioner Meyer. You can call and kind of just see if there's something open, but it is difficult if you don't sign up early to get a reservation. It can be difficult. And I think I was going to actually ask Yvonne if there'd been any sort of updates on the hiring, because I know there's been a lot of unexpected closures of the pool
Yeah.
past few weeks.
Yeah.
And I assumed that had to do with staffing, but it would be great if we could kind of just get a realistic update on staffing, because it would be so nice if we could kind of make a more robust staff situation possible for the summer. And maybe we can do some of these things that Dieter is talking about and kind of increase the accessibility to the pool to people who are not just coming for, you know, swim lanes.
Yeah, and for us, it's that new lifeguard trainee program that we had City Council just approve as sort of a more longer term sustainable approach to make sure that there's more individuals in the Coachella Valley that are certified as lifeguards. So we think that's going to be key, and those positions will be posted shortly. And we're also hoping at that community outreach meeting that we're going to do that we can also be promoting being a lifeguard for the city of Palm Springs.
Great. I think that's a fabulous move in the right direction, especially if we want to keep expanding the center, because sometimes I can't believe we only have one for a city where the sun shines like 360 days a year. So that's great.
Awesome. Now we got a local running the show, so hopefully we can get some stuff done. That's the good stuff. She understands it. So with that being said, is there any other questions, comments, concerns, updates? All right, with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to close.
Motion to close the meeting.
Second.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
We have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Michael. Our next meeting is going to be February 27th, 2023, right here on good old Zoom. Hope everybody has a good month and take care
Can I
of yourself.
interject on that? I'm sorry if this goes back. Do we ever think about ever meeting in person? Ever, like, you know, having coffees and sitting around like one big table and just doing a face-to-face? Would that ever come about again, or are we just more in the virtual?
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, that's your call, Yvonne, on something you know better than anybody if that could ever or should ever happen. But
Yes, so several commissions are slowly starting to move back to the in-person format. The last city council meeting was done virtually, but the city council meeting this week will be done in person. So we are now, I think, seeing commissions slowly start to move to that in-person format.
oh, very cool. Okay.
All right, everybody. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you, Jerry. Hey, take care, Chris.
Thank you. You too. You
All
too,
right, buddy.
Johnny. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you. Sure. Bye.
Vegetable wash spray and it's done.